Cole Harrington had it all: money, wealth, power, and success. But none of it mattered the day a cold voice in a sterile hospital room shattered his world. "You have 3 months to live." For a man who controlled everything, this was the one thing he couldn't buy or fight. But as the silence stretched, something inside him shifted. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a journey that would change not just his life, but the lives of 5 boys waiting to be found. Instead of waiting to die, he stepped into the forgotten streets of Chicago and saw 5 little boys fighting over a half-eaten sandwich in a trash bin. And he did the unthinkable. "I'll take them." Everyone laughed. But Cole wasn't trying to be a hero. He just wanted to feel something, anything, before his clock stopped ticking. Cole Harrington never liked hospitals. Not because he feared pain or death, but because they smelled like despair. And despair was the one thing his billions could never silence. The doctor's office was cold. Not just in temperature, but in feeling. Stainless steel furniture. A single pot plant in the corner. Abstract art that screamed, "I'm trying too hard." Cole sat across from Dr. Myers, an old man with soft eyes and trembling hands. The silence between them was sharp, like glass. Cole adjusted his designer cufflinks, trying to hide the tightness growing in his chest. "Just tell me," he said flatly. "I have meetings lined up." Dr. Myers sighed and placed the scan results gently on the table. "You have 3 months, Mr. Harrington. Maybe less." Cole blinked. "Months. Pancreatic. Aggressive. We caught it too late." For a moment, the sound drained out of the room. No humming of machines. No ticking clock. Just the weight of finality. 3 months. Cole laughed. Not out of joy, but the kind of laugh that bursts from someone who's been stabbed and is trying not to cry. "Guess that beachfront villa in Italy won't matter now," he muttered. Dr. Myers placed a hand on his. "You still have time, Cole. Use it for something that matters." Cole nodded, but he didn't hear the words. He stood, shook the doctor's hand, and walked out into the bright sunlight like a man whose shadow no longer followed him. That night, Cole stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse overlooking downtown Chicago. Cars passed below like ants. The city buzzed with life, but inside him there was only silence. His assistant, Rachel, entered the room quietly. "Your flight to Switzerland is booked. Stem cell treatment. Experimental." Cole didn't turn. "Cancel it." Rachel froze. "What?" "I'm not spending the rest of my life chasing false hope. I want something else." Rachel hesitated. "What exactly?" He turned to her. "I want to matter." 2 days later, dressed in a plain hoodie and jeans, Cole walked into a part of town where his name held no power. The West End was a place tourists avoided and the city ignored. It smelled of old Greece and tired dreams. A cold wind whipped through the broken buildings and graffiti-covered walls. That's where he saw them. 5 boys. Dirty. Hungry. Huddled behind a dumpster, fighting over a sandwich that looked like it had been stepped on. They couldn't have been older than 8 or 9. Cole watched. One of them, the smallest, barefoot with a missing front tooth, tore off a piece of the sandwich and gave it to the others before taking a bite himself. That boy, that moment, broke something in Cole. He approached. The boys scattered like birds. "Wait," he called out. "I'm not here to hurt you." The smallest one stopped, looked back, and narrowed his eyes. "You a cop?" "No." "You want to take us back to the shelter?" "No." "Then what do you want?" Cole knelt on the wet pavement. "I want to help you." The boy frowned. "Why?" Cole took a shaky breath. "Because I'm dying. And helping you might be the only thing that makes my life mean something." The boy stared at him like he was trying to read a language he'd never seen before. Then he spoke, with a kind of broken wisdom no child should ever have. "You got a lot of money?" "Yes." "You gonna leave soon?" "Yes." "Then don't help me. People like you leave. People like me get used to it." Cole went to the social services office the next morning. "I want to adopt 5 boys," he said. The clerk looked up, eyes wide. "Excuse me. I said I want to adopt them. Legally. Fully." She laughed. A loud, genuine laugh. "Sir, this isn't Build-A-Bear. Takes months, sometimes years. I have 3 months, Cole replied. Her laughter faded. He handed her a check. That's to speed things up. Her eyes widened. And this, he said, holding up another check, is for the kids. News spread like wildfire. Dying millionaire adopts 5 street kids. Why? Social media exploded. Some called him insane. Others called him a hero. But most just laughed. Rich man's guilt trip. Publicity stunt. He's using the kids to make himself feel better. Cole ignored it all. The only thing that mattered was the 5 boys. And slowly, painfully, they started to trust him. The smallest boy's name was Jesse. He began calling Cole Mr. C. And one night, as Cole tucked Jesse into bed for the first time, the boy whispered, "You're not like the others." "Why?" "You stayed." Cole Harrington had faced boardrooms filled with billion-dollar sharks and made them sweat. He'd stood in front of entire nations to broker deals, win awards, and close mergers worth more than most people's lives. But none of that prepared him for the reality of standing in a run-down group home, staring at 5 little boys who didn't trust the world and certainly didn't trust him. He had met with CPS again that morning. "You really want all 5? The social worker asked, peering at him over her coffee-stained desk. "Yes." She sighed. "Cole, they've been through things you can't undo. They're not broken toys you can glue back together." "I'm not trying to fix them," he said. "I just want to give them something better than what they've had." She studied him, perhaps waiting for the selfish motive behind the gesture. When she found none, she gave him a folder. Inside their names, their ages, and what little background information the system had bothered to collect. Jesse, 7 years old. Smart. Street-hardened. The smallest. The unofficial leader. Abandoned outside a gas station at age 4. Mikey, 9 years old. Doesn't speak. Keeps a notebook. Trauma suspected. Parents died in a house fire. No extended family. Andre, 8 years old. Protective of the others. Tends to fight authority. Been in 4 foster homes in 2 years. Tyler, 6 years old. Sweet-natured. Night terrors. Found alone in an abandoned building at age 5. Zane, 8 years old. Wears headphones to drown out noise. Has sensory issues. Highly intelligent. Possibly on the spectrum. Cole read each file slowly, carefully. He didn't flinch at the descriptions. In fact, the deeper he read, the heavier his heart became. "These boys don't need pity," he said aloud. "They need presence." When Cole entered the group home later that afternoon, he didn't expect a welcome party. But he also didn't expect flying objects. A crumpled can of soda hit the wall behind him. Zane threw it. Jesse stood in the center of the room with arms folded, wearing a superhero t-shirt that was 2 sizes too big. "You came back." "I said I would. Rich people always say things." Cole knelt. "Well, I'm dying. So I don't have time to lie." The boys exchanged glances. No one laughed. Even kids that age understood death. "Why us?" Andre asked from the corner. Cole didn't blink. "Because I saw 5 boys with more heart than the men I've worked with my entire life." Silence. Then Jesse said, "So, what now?" "Now," Cole said gently, "we go home." They rode in a stretched black SUV. The kids pressed their faces against the windows, pointing at tall buildings, busy people, shiny lights. "Is that where Iron Man lives?" Jesse asked, pointing at a high-rise. "No," Cole chuckled. "But close." Zane whispered something to Tyler, who giggled. Mikey clutched his small notebook like a teddy bear. Andre sat stiffly, refusing to let his guard down. When the car pulled up to Cole's 53rd floor penthouse, the boys froze. "You own this?" Jesse asked. "For now," Cole replied. They stepped into a space bigger than anything they'd ever imagined. White marble floors. A grand piano. Floor-to-ceiling windows. The skyline of Chicago glittering in the distance. But what caught their eyes wasn't the wealth. It was the 5 bunk beds lined up in a custom room Cole had prepared. Each bed had new clothes, a superhero comforter, and a name tag on the wall above it. Each with their name. Tyler's lip trembled. "That's my name." Yes, Cole said softly. How'd you know my favorite color is blue? I asked. The boy ran to the bed and buried his face in the pillow. That night, they sat at a massive glass dining table. A private chef brought in burgers, fries, and ice cream. Real meat. Jesse whispered. Yep. No beans or peanut butter. Not tonight. The boys devoured the meal like wild wolves. Except Mikey, who picked slowly, writing in his notebook. What's he always writing? Zane asked. No idea, Jesse said. Mikey doesn't talk. Cole looked at Mikey and smiled. That's okay. We all speak different ways. Later, Cole peeked at the notebook when Mikey left it on the table. On the page was a single drawing. A stick figure with 5 kids standing next to a man in a suit. The figure had a heart drawn in red crayon. That night was chaos. Zane hated the softness of his mattress. Andre didn't want to be touched. Tyler screamed from nightmares. Mikey curled into the corner of his bunk, notebook pressed to his chest. Only Jesse walked into Cole's room and stood in the doorway. You don't know what you're doing, do you? Cole shook his head. Not really. Jesse climbed into his bed like it was the most natural thing in the world and pulled the covers over himself. Well, I'll help you. Cole smiled. Deal. Before falling asleep, Jesse whispered, Thanks for not being scared of us. Cole whispered back, Thanks for letting me in. By the next morning, the media had its hands on the story. Dying billionaire buys a family? Adoption or redemption PR? Cole Harrington's final stunt. Twitter. TikTok. Morning talk shows. Everyone had an opinion. But Cole didn't care. He had 5 reasons not to. Late that night, Cole stood alone on the balcony. His phone buzzed with dozens of unread messages. One from his lawyer. One from a Forbes reporter. One from a childhood friend who hadn't called in 10 years. He ignored them all. Instead, he stared up at the stars. 3 months, he whispered. Behind him, he heard laughter. Genuine, childlike, innocent laughter echoing from the boy's bedroom. Cole closed his eyes. For the first time in a very long time, he smiled. Not the forced, media-trained smile. A real one. Because maybe, just maybe, he didn't need to be remembered by the world. He only needed to be remembered by them. Cole Harrington didn't sleep much anymore. The truth was, he didn't want to. Time was ticking, each second dragging him closer to the deadline stamped silently inside his chest. While the world continued to speculate and gossip, Cole was discovering that 5 small boys could be louder, messier, more unpredictable, and more healing than anything he'd ever imagined. And in that chaos was life. The sun hadn't yet painted the sky when Cole heard the first thud. Then a scream. Then a crash. By the time he reached the bedroom, Jesse had climbed halfway up the dresser, Andre was holding back Zane from launching a pillow, and Tyler was sitting in a laundry basket, pretending it was a spaceship. Mikey sat on the floor sketching, completely unfazed. Cole rubbed his temples. Boys, it's 6 a.m. Jesse grinned, mid-dangle. We hungry. There's food in the kitchen. Yeah, but we wanted to surprise you with breakfast. You mean the scrambled eggs on the hallway carpet? Cole asked. Andre chuckled. Oops. Cole crouched. Next time, let's surprise me with toast. The chef was out sick. Rachel had warned Cole this would happen. You need a nanny, she had said. He was beginning to believe her. But that morning, Cole made breakfast himself. Bacon. Pancakes. Orange juice. He burned everything. Tyler ate the bacon anyway. You ever cook before? Jesse asked, mouth full. Does toasting bagels count? No. Then no. Jesse laughed. You're worse than Miss Linda at the shelter. Hey, I'm trying. Trying is better than leaving, Jesse said, suddenly serious. Cole froze. Those words hung in the air like a knife. He looked at the boys, each with their own stories etched into tired eyes. Kids shouldn't talk like that. Shouldn't know what leaving felt like. He placed a hand over his heart. I'm not leaving. Not until my time is up. And even then, I'll make sure you're safe. Rachel scheduled it. I know you want to play the superhero, Cole. But these kids need more than toys and bunk beds. They need healing. So, reluctantly, Cole agreed. Dr. Lena Walsh was gentle, soft-spoken, and firm. "I'll start with one-on-one sessions," she said. The boys were suspicious. "Is she a cop?" Andre asked. "No," Cole assured. "She gonna take us away?" "No." "She smells like candy," Tyler whispered. Each boy had a different response. Zane refused to go in unless he could keep his headphones on. Mikey only drew pictures, handing them to Dr. Walsh without speaking. Andre stared at her in silence for 20 minutes, then muttered, "You don't know what it's like to be unwanted." Tyler cried halfway through and ran out. Jesse sat cross-legged and asked, "Are you trying to break us more? Or fix us?" Dr. Walsh replied gently, "Neither. I'm just here to listen." Cole stood outside the room listening to that and blinked away tears. Later that week, Cole found Mikey alone in the library. It had become his safe space, lined with colorful books and beanbags. Mikey was drawing again. But this time, when Cole walked in, Mikey didn't hide his notebook. "Can I see?" Cole asked. Mikey nodded. It was a drawing of a house. But not Cole's penthouse. A simple, one-story home with a yard and a tree with a tire swing. Cole smiled. "Is that your dream house?" Mikey nodded again. Cole knelt beside him. "You know, we can build this. For all of us." Mikey hesitated, then did something he had never done before. He spoke. "Promise." Just one word. But it hit Cole like a wave. He swallowed. "Promise." That night, Cole handed out gift boxes. Inside each box, a photo. One was Jesse's old street, cleaned and lit up by volunteers Cole had hired. Another was Mikey's treehouse being built in a countryside plot Cole had quietly purchased. Zane's photo showed a custom learning center Cole funded for neurodiverse children. Tyler's had his long-lost toy truck, the one he'd cried about for nights, restored and placed next to his new bed. Andre's was different. A sealed court document. "Open it," Cole said. Andre tore the seal. His eyes widened. "This says, my name's being changed?" "Yes." "If you want. You once told me you hated being called by the name your father gave you. So, I gave you a choice. That name belongs to you now." Andre stared at the paper. "Can I choose anything?" "Anything." Andre looked at him, voice trembling. "Then I want to be Andre Harrington." Cole blinked hard. "Welcome to the family, son." Social media was relentless. The billionaire babysitter. Daddy dying dollars. Cringe or courage. But buried in the noise were voices that began to shift. "I thought he was just another rich guy. But he's still showing up for them every day. My daughter was at the same therapy center. She said those boys smile now. Like, really smile. He may be dying. But he's giving them life." The tide was slowly turning. In the hallway near the boys' room, Cole hung a large wooden frame with empty photo slots. "What's that for?" Zane asked. "Every week, we'll take a picture together. Add it to the wall. That way, no matter what happens, these moments stay." Jesse shrugged. "Kinda cheesy." "Cheese is delicious," Cole said. Tyler giggled. "Can we do a silly face one?" "Absolutely." The first photo was wild, everyone making goofy faces. Even Cole. As he placed it on the wall, he whispered, "Now we start building forever." Later that night, Cole sat on the living room couch, arms folded, blanket over his legs. The boys had finally gone to bed. Rachel sat beside him. "You look exhausted." "I am." "But you're smiling." "I know." She looked at him for a moment. "You realize you're doing something most healthy people are too scared to do." "What?" "Let people in." Cole's smile faded into something more gentle. "I always thought dying would be the end of me. And now. Now. I think it's the beginning of them." They sat in silence, looking at the memory wall. 5 frames. 5 lives. One man who had nothing left to give, except everything that truly mattered. Mornings were no longer silent. They began with banging doors, mismatched socks, missing toothbrushes, cereal spilled across polished countertops, and 5 voices arguing over who got the last Pop-Tart. But to Cole Harrington, this chaos was sacred. It was proof that something was working. The boys weren't fixed, but they were beginning to belong. Every morning started the same way. Jesse made sure everyone brushed their teeth, even if he had to threaten Tyler with his toothbrush sword. Zane insisted on matching the colors of his clothes to the breakfast menu. Andre made a habit of checking all the doors, windows, and rooms, protective as always. Mikey, now slightly more vocal, would write a sticky note each morning and leave it on Cole's desk. Today's note read, "Thank you for giving me paper that doesn't smell like mold." Tyler just sang loudly and always wore socks that didn't match. Cole had enrolled them in a private school not far from home. It wasn't a rich kids' academy. It was a progressive, trauma-informed school built for kids like them. Smaller classes, specialized programs, and teachers who didn't believe in yelling. The boys were not excited. "I ain't going," Andre grumbled. "You gotta," Jesse replied. "Can't live smart if you don't learn stuff." "I learned plenty on the street." "Yeah, but spelling ain't one of them," Jesse fired back. Andre gave him a glare, but Cole stepped in. "It's just a visit. Let's meet the teachers first." Zane crossed his arms. "What if they don't get me?" Cole knelt beside him. "Then they'll learn. Just like I did." The black SUV pulled up to the school. The boys stepped out hesitantly. Jesse tried to look tough. Andre wore his "Don't Mess With Me" hoodie. Mikey clutched his notebook. Zane kept his headphones on. Tyler held Cole's hand tightly. Students stared. Teachers whispered. One student said, "Why are those kids with him?" Cole didn't respond. Neither did the boys. But something shifted when a little girl ran up to Tyler and said, "Hey, I like your socks." Tyler blinked. "They're dragons." She nodded. "Cool. You want to sit with me at lunch?" Tyler grinned, his whole face lighting up. "Okay." Cole exhaled. The day had begun. That night, the school emailed Cole progress notes. Tyler made a new friend. Participated in music class. Jesse challenged a history teacher on Civil War facts correctly. Andre almost got into a fight, then walked away after a peer counselor talked to him. Zane built a solar panel model and explained it to the entire class. Mikey wrote a poem. The teacher cried. Cole printed the notes and placed them on the fridge. 5 magnets. 5 victories. That evening, as they sat watching cartoons, Jesse turned to Cole. "Why us?" Cole looked down. "What do you mean? There are thousands of kids like us. You could have picked anyone. Why'd you pick the 5 of us?" Cole didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stood, walked to his study, and returned with an old photo. It was a young Cole, maybe 8 or 9, sitting on a park bench alone. Dirty shoes. Torn shirt. Eyes full of pain. This was me. Before the world noticed me. The boys stared. "I know what it feels like to be invisible," Cole whispered. "And I promised myself if I ever had the power, I'd never let a kid feel that way again." Tyler climbed into his lap. "You're not invisible to us," he said. And neither was Cole. Rachel had arranged a meeting with Cole's estate lawyer, Michael Grant. The boys sat awkwardly in the massive conference room, spinning in leather chairs. "Okay," Michael said, clearing his throat, "this is serious stuff. Your guardian, Mr. Harrington, is making legal plans for for the future." Jesse cut in. "When he's gone, right?" Cole nodded. "Yes." Michael opened a file. "He's setting up something called a living trust. It means you boys will have a home, a guardian, education, protection, even a foundation under your name." Wait, Andre interrupted. "You mean money?" "Yes," Michael said, smiling. "But also support, structure, safety." Zane leaned forward. "And this doesn't go away if Cole—" "No," Cole answered. "That's the point. It stays even when I don't." For the first time, the boys truly looked scared. Not because of the money. Because for the first time, they didn't want him to leave. Cole surprised them on Saturday. They took a trip to a countryside property, Mikey's dream home location. It had acres of trees, a small creek, and the skeleton of a wooden house being constructed. "This is where we'll go on weekends," Cole said. "Build." Heal. Play. The boys ran wild. Zane found a pile of scrap wood and started building a model airplane. Tyler chased frogs and got muddy. Andre climbed trees. Jesse sat beside Cole on the porch steps. You sure we can keep this? Why not? 'Cause nothing this good lasts for us. Cole turned to him. That's the old truth, Jesse. Let's build a new one. That night, Jesse snuck into Cole's room. He sat at the edge of the bed, legs dangling. I had a dream, he said. You died. Cole sat up. I'm still here. But you weren't in the dream. Just a chair. Empty. Cole reached over, pulled Jesse into a side hug. It's okay to be scared. Jesse nodded into his shoulder. But what if I forget your voice? Cole didn't answer immediately. Then he walked to the closet, pulled out a small black box, and handed it to Jesse. Inside, a voice recorder. I've been recording bedtime stories. One for each of you. You'll never forget my voice. I promise. Jesse cried without making a sound. Because sometimes, love is quiet. Later that night, Cole sat alone on the porch swing. Rachel joined him with 2 mugs of tea. You look tired. I am. But you look full too. He nodded. They're not just filling the time. They're filling the holes I didn't even know I had. Rachel looked at the stars. Do you regret not doing this sooner? Cole didn't answer right away. Then, softly, I don't regret anything. Because I get to do it now. In the distance, he heard the boys giggling. Somewhere between love and letting go, Cole Harrington found the one thing money could never buy. A family. Cole Harrington wasn't used to naps. In his previous life, napping was for the weak. Now, he found himself dozing off mid-afternoon on the couch, arms crossed, Jesse curled beside him, Tyler lying on the floor with a coloring book, and Mikey perched quietly nearby, sketching the scene in his notebook. He had a strange dream. Not about death, but about music. Laughter. A small house with wind chimes on the porch. The smell of cinnamon in the air. Children running barefoot on grass. It wasn't a memory. It was a vision. And when he woke up, the pain that usually radiated through his side like clockwork was gone. Just for a moment. Then it returned. But softer. Muffled. He didn't tell anyone. Cole had skipped 2 checkups already. Rachel wasn't having it. You need to let them monitor your progress. It's terminal, Cole replied. And yet you're still here. Stronger than ever. Just go. He finally agreed. At the hospital, Dr. Myers blinked at the test results. This doesn't make sense. What doesn't? Your vitals. Your white blood cell count. Inflammatory markers. They're stabilizing. Cole frowned. But I've been off all meds for a month. Dr. Myers sat down slowly. Mr. Harrington, I can't explain this. But something is changing. Maybe not a full recovery. But improvement. Cole exhaled, stunned. You said I had 3 months. You're on month 3 right now. And I'd say you have more time. When he returned home, Cole didn't say anything. He just watched the boys for a long time. Jesse wrestling with Andre on the carpet. Tyler trying to teach Zane how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on a toy piano. Mikey laughing, a sound so rare it almost startled Cole. That night, he made dinner himself. Spaghetti. Burnt. Sloppy. Perfect. They ate, and after, he stood and cleared his throat. I got news today. 5 heads turned. I might not be dying after all. They stared in silence. You're not gonna leave us now, are you? Jesse whispered. Cole dropped to one knee. Not if I can help it. Dr. Walsh called it emotional immunity. A phenomenon we're just beginning to understand, she explained. In rare cases, terminal patients living in love-filled, purpose-driven environments show a significant slowdown in disease progression. Rachel was speechless. So, they're saving him? Dr. Walsh smiled. Maybe not medically. But something inside Cole shifted. It's like his body wants to fight now. For the first time in years, Cole's blood work was improving. His energy was increasing. His pain attacks were less frequent. He was smiling, laughing, living. One afternoon, Andre approached him nervously. "I got an idea." "I'm listening," Cole said. "You said there's more kids out there, right? Like us?" "Thousands." "Well, what if we help them?" Cole leaned in. "Oh." "A fundraiser. We tell people our story. Raise money. Make shelters better. Create more homes." Cole blinked back sudden tears. "You want to help kids you don't even know?" "Someone helped me," Andre said. "Now I want to do the same." Rachel helped them set it up. A short video. 5 boys. 1 man. Each told their story. Then Cole spoke. "They said I had 3 months to live. Then I met 5 boys who were supposed to be my last chapter, and they became my first. I didn't save them. They saved me." The video went viral. 20 million views in 1 week. Celebrities reshared it. Talk shows begged for interviews. Donations flooded in. The Harrington Boys Foundation was born. With the funds, Cole bought a second property, a large home outside the city with 15 rooms, green lawns, and enough space to house 20 kids. The boys helped name it the Lighthouse. They painted murals, picked bunk beds, built a library and a game room. "I want the next kid who walks in to feel like they matter," Jesse said. "Like we did." 2 weeks later, Dr. Myers called. "Cole, we need to talk." Cole sat in his home office, staring at his medical file. "Your tumor has shrunk. Considerably." Cole's hands shook. "What does that mean?" "I can't promise remission. But I can say you're not dying, not yet. And maybe not for a very long time." Cole leaned back in his chair. The weight he'd carried for months gone. The expiration date he'd branded on his soul faded. And in its place, hope. Cole sat on the front porch of the lighthouse with all 5 boys still in pajamas, wrapped in blankets. They watched the sunrise. "I thought I was going to die," Cole said quietly. "Not on our watch," Jesse replied. "Guess I'll have to start planning next year's birthday party," Cole chuckled. Tyler beamed. "With cake." "Lots of cake." Andre asked, "What now?" Cole looked at them. "No. We build. We help. We live." Mikey handed him a drawing. A sun rising over 5 boys standing next to a tall man with a heart on his chest. Above it, written in shaky handwriting, "Not the end. Just the beginning." The word miracle was one Cole Harrington had always rolled his eyes at. He believed in numbers, logic, and proof. But now he believed in sunrises after long nights. In the healing power of laughter. In 5 small boys who shattered every expectation he had of what life and love could become. He wasn't just alive. He was reborn. And this time, he had a mission. By the end of the month, the lighthouse was more than a shelter. It was becoming a movement. It hosted daily therapy sessions, art and music classes, mentorship programs with reformed adults who had once been in the system, weekly family dinners where all the kids sat down together and ate like they belonged to someone. More kids were arriving, each with their own scars, their own pain. One girl, 11-year-old Serena, hadn't spoken in 2 years. On her 3rd day at the lighthouse, she heard Tyler sing his Dragon Sock song and laughed so hard she fell off the beanbag. Then she spoke. "Do it again." Cole gathered the original 5, Jesse, Andre, Tyler, Mikey, and Zane into the upstairs lounge one morning. "I want to give you new titles," he said. "Are we getting promoted?" Jesse asked, raising a brow. Cole smiled. "Sort of. You're now peer mentors. Each of you will be assigned new kids when they arrive." Tyler jumped up. "I get to be a big brother?" "Yes." Jesse added, "Do we get badges or something?" Rachel walked in with 5 custom pins, silver lighthouses with each boy's initials. Cole clipped them on one by one. They weren't just survivors now. They were leaders. Cole was invited to speak at a youth advocacy gala in downtown Chicago. He brought the boys with him, dressed in matching navy blue suits and sneakers. When Cole stepped up to the podium, he didn't begin with statistics. He began with Jesse's story. And then Andre's. And then Mikey's drawing. "I adopted them because I thought I was dying," Cole told the crowd. "Turns out, I was already dead. Dead inside. Money can buy silence. But these boys, they gave me a reason to speak. He ended his speech by holding up Mikey's drawing, the one that said not the end, just the beginning. The room erupted in a standing ovation. That night, in the limousine back home, Jesse asked, "You okay, Mr. C?" Cole wiped his eyes. "I never cried on stage before." Zane, without removing his headphones, said, "You needed to." Tyler crawled across the seat and hugged him. Andre, in his usual quiet strength, added, "That's how people know it's real." And it was. More real than any contract Cole had ever signed. The lighthouse began receiving letters. One from a boy in Detroit who said Jesse's story helped him ask for help. One from a teacher in Atlanta who used Mikey's drawings to talk to her students about trauma. One from a pastor in New Jersey who played Cole's gala speech during his Sunday sermon. Impact rippled outward. What started as a dying man's last wish had become a lighthouse not just for a few, but for many. 3 months turned into 5. 5 turned into 7. Then came Cole's birthday. He tried to act casual, sipping coffee in the kitchen. But the boys had been planning for weeks. That night, they surprised him with a backyard party. Fairy lights. A cake shaped like a lighthouse. Balloons with all their names on them. Each boy handed him a card. Jesse said, "You may be old, but you're still cooler than Batman." Zane's read, "Happy birthday. You're now 1,000 years old. Please don't die before dessert." Tyler gave a handmade coupon that read, "1 free nap without interruption." Andre gave him a bracelet that read, "Family is who stays." Mikey handed him a frame. Inside was a new drawing. It showed the 6 of them, holding hands, standing on top of a mountain. Underneath, in big bold letters, "The man who adopted us, and was adopted right back." Cole cried. This time, he didn't try to stop it. At his next appointment, Dr. Myers smiled before even opening the file. "You're making medical journals, Cole." "What?" "Your case is being studied. Your scans now show almost no trace of active disease. You're not just stable, you're improving." Cole laughed. "So I'm not dying anymore? You're living." Fiercely. Inspired by the boys, Cole decided to open Lighthouse East, a second location in New York City. And after that, plans for Lighthouse West in California began. The 5 boys became spokespeople for the expansion, attending charity dinners, press interviews, and helping select staff who actually understand kids like us, as Jesse insisted. One evening, Cole stood outside the lighthouse, watching the boys play soccer on the lawn. A soft breeze passed through. Rachel joined him, sipping her tea. "Do you ever think about what life would have been like if you'd gotten that plane to Switzerland?" she asked. "Every day," he replied. "And I thank God I missed it." She looked at him, then the boys. "You were supposed to die," she said gently. "I did," Cole whispered. "The part of me that didn't know how to live." He turned to her and smiled. "I don't have forever, Rachel. But I have today. And that's enough." The lighthouse had become more than just a safe haven. It was a symbol. A living, breathing testimony that broken people, when given light and love, could thrive. But symbols weren't immune to storms. And the first one came on a Monday. Like most storms, it didn't start loud. It started with a lie. Tyler burst into Cole's office in tears, holding his empty backpack. "My phone's gone." It wasn't just any phone. It was a limited edition model Cole had given each of the 5 boys when they reached 6 months in the program, with engraved names on the back. "Are you sure you didn't misplace it?" Cole asked gently. "I left it charging. Now it's gone." Within hours, whispers turned to rumors. It was Daniel, someone said. A new boy, 13 years old. Quiet. Kept to himself. Came from a juvenile detention center. Yeah, he was near the charging station. By lunchtime, a group of boys had surrounded Daniel near the basketball court. "Thief. Liar. You don't belong here." Andre stepped in fast. "Back off," he shouted. "We don't judge without proof." But the damage had started. Daniel didn't say a word. He just walked to his room and shut the door. That evening, Cole called a house meeting. All 22 kids sat in the common room, some sulking, others whispering. Cole stood at the front, hands folded. "I want to tell you a story," he began. Everyone went silent. There was a boy who once had everything stolen from him, his clothes, his shoes, his dignity. He ended up sleeping under a bridge. One night, someone accused him of stealing a sandwich. He didn't. But nobody listened. And that moment, it turned him into someone he didn't recognize. He paused, locking eyes with Jesse, then Zane, then Andre. That boy was me. The room shifted. We do not accuse without proof. And we never turn into the people who hurt us. He looked toward Daniel's room. Everyone deserves a chance to be heard. The next morning, Mikey walked into Cole's office holding something behind his back. "I found this," he whispered. It was Tyler's phone wedged deep in the couch cushions of the reading nook. Cole's stomach dropped. No one had stolen it. It had simply fallen. He gathered the boys. Daniel stood at the edge of the group, arms crossed, trying to look unbothered. Cole walked up to him first. "I'm sorry." Daniel blinked. "Why?" "Because we failed you." The other boys looked down. Jesse stepped forward. "I was wrong," he said. "We all were." Andre added, "If you're still willing, I want to show you how things really work around here." Daniel looked around the circle of boys, some remorseful, some confused. Then slowly, he nodded. Over the next week, Daniel began to thaw. Zane taught him how to build model planes. Tyler shared his snacks. Andre included him in basketball practice. Jesse started calling him D. And Mikey. He drew a picture of him with the others and taped it above Daniel's bed without saying a word. One night, the fire alarm went off. Smoke filled the hallways, an overheated kitchen wire. The kids were terrified. Tyler screamed. Zane curled in a ball. Daniel ran straight for the younger boys' rooms, waking them, carrying Tyler on his back. He helped lead 4 kids out the door while others were still frozen. When everyone was finally safe outside, Cole approached Daniel. "You okay?" Daniel was shaking. "I just remembered the last fire. It was bad." Cole placed a hand on his shoulder. "You kept your head. You protected them. That's what brothers do." Daniel burst into tears. And for the first time since arriving, he let himself be held. That Saturday, Cole gathered all 6 boys, his original 5 and Daniel, at the bonfire pit behind the lighthouse. "I want to show you something," he said. He lifted his shirt, revealing a small surgical scar near his ribs. "This one saved my life." Jesse pulled up his pant leg. "I got stitches here. Fell off a dumpster." Andre raised his shirt. "Foster dad did this one. Not proud of it. But it's mine." Zane pointed to his wrist. "Burn mark. Accident in the shelter kitchen." Mikey didn't speak. But he showed a drawing of a heart, half cracked, half whole. Daniel hesitated, then slowly lifted his hoodie. Across his back were marks, some faint, some recent. No one spoke. Until Jesse walked over, wrapped his arm around him, and said, "Now we all match." Cole's health remained stable, but at night, the fear returned. What if the disease came back? What if he didn't wake up one morning? What if the lighthouse crumbled after him? He voiced these fears to Rachel one evening. "I can't leave them alone." "You won't," she said. "You've given them something no one else did. Family. Even if one day you're not here, your love will be." Cole nodded, tears brimming. "You think they'll be okay?" "I think," Rachel said, "they'll become men who change the world." Daniel slipped a note under Cole's door that night. It was a drawing. 6 boys, standing in a line. In the center, a tall man holding a light in his hand. Above it, Daniel had written, "Thank you for seeing who I could be, not who I was." Cole placed it in the same drawer as Mikey's first drawing. He stared at it for a long time, heart full. He wasn't dying anymore. He was living 100 lifetimes through the people he loved. Cole Harrington once believed success came in numbers, shares, mergers, valuations. But now, his definition of success had changed. It came in the way Zane's eyes lit up when building a model. In the way Tyler danced with joy when music played. In Mikey's quiet sketches. In Jesse's way of rallying others. in Andre's fierce protectiveness, and now, in Daniel's ability to lead during chaos. They weren't just survivors anymore. They were dreamers. And Cole realized, maybe his mission wasn't just to save them from the past. It was to launch them toward their future. On a rainy Thursday morning, Cole gathered the boys in the lounge. "Okay, I have a new idea," he began, standing with a dry erase board. "We're already tired," Jesse grumbled, his mouth full of cereal. "This isn't school," Cole said. "It's called Dream Day." Zane raised a brow. "Sounds fake. Every month, each of you will get a chance to lead one day at the lighthouse. That day is for your passion, your talent, your dream." "You mean we teach?" Andre asked. "Yes. Or build. Or show. Whatever lights you up." Tyler gasped. "I can make a music concert." Mikey raised his sketchpad. He'd already drawn a stage with lights and seats. Daniel whispered, "Can I teach self-defense?" Cole smiled. "That's the point." Zane was first. He requested every toolbox in the house. Rachel helped set up folding tables with nuts, bolts, tiny motors, and wires. Cole invited a few engineers from a local tech school to watch. Zane, usually quiet, stood in front with a model airplane and said, "Today we'll learn how to make something fly using nothing but recycled materials and brains." And he meant it. He helped 5 other boys build gliders that soared across the yard. At the end, the tech school rep pulled Cole aside. "This kid has serious potential. We'd love to sponsor him for a summer robotics camp." Zane didn't even smile at first. He simply said, "I guess headphones and blueprints really do take you somewhere." Cole hugged him and whispered, "Farther than you think." Tyler's day was next. He created an event called Lighthouses Got Talent. It was wild, loud, chaotic. There were drums made from paint buckets, rapping with pots and pans. Zane DJ'd using YouTube sound effects. Tyler performed an original song titled "You Can't Break Me If I Already Shine." By the end of the day, Cole's ears were ringing, but his heart was full. Local music teachers who attended reached out with offers for mentorship. And Tyler? He wore sunglasses indoors for 2 days afterward. "I'm a star now," he declared. Mikey refused a public stage. Instead, he turned the lighthouse dining hall into an art gallery. He spent 3 weeks secretly drawing the residents, every child, every staff member, every moment that mattered. Each drawing told a story. Andre breaking up a fight. Rachel wiping a boy's tears. Tyler asleep with headphones tangled around him. Cole holding a flashlight while Jesse stitched a ripped soccer ball. At the center of the gallery was a massive drawing of the lighthouse. In the window, all the boys were waving. Underneath, "Home isn't a place. It's a person who stays." Mikey didn't say a word. He didn't have to. His art screamed love. Jesse held a town hall day. He even wore a tie. His idea. Every child at the lighthouse would pitch their dream and get a plan to pursue it. Some said they wanted to become chefs. Others wanted to go to college, become firefighters, or just feel safe enough to sleep through the night. Jesse stood tall and said, "Your past is not your forever. Your future starts here." He formed a dream committee with Cole and Rachel. They created vision boards for each child. Jesse's leadership stunned even Cole. "Where did you learn to talk like that?" he asked. Jesse grinned. "You talk a lot. I just started listening." Andre's day was all business. He set up mats in the yard, borrowed pads from a local gym, taught the boys about boundaries, breathing, posture, and how to defend themselves without starting fights. Then he sat them down and said something that silenced the crowd. "When you've been hurt a lot, you want to hurt back. But that's not strength. Strength is knowing you're enough, even when others treat you like nothing." That line was printed later and taped on every wall of the lighthouse. Daniel's dream day was quiet. He didn't want an event. He asked if he could build a garden in the backyard. "A garden?" Cole asked. Daniel nodded. "Growing things helps me not feel stuck." So they cleared a small space. Planted tomatoes, peppers, sunflowers. Tyler called them the miracle plants. Weeks later, when the first sprouts appeared, Daniel smiled so wide his cheeks hurt. Cole asked him, What's the dream here? Daniel shrugged. Maybe one day, I'll open a shelter. One with a garden in the back. Cole's voice cracked. We'll build it together. Inspired, Cole launched a national project. It would fund the passion of foster kids across the country. Artists, musicians, scientists, future leaders, grants, mentors, exposure. A way to water every forgotten dream. He started it in honor of the 5 boys who changed his life. And the 6th, who reminded him that redemption doesn't come from perfection. It comes from love. That night, the boys sat around a fire pit. I wish every kid like us had a Cole, Jesse said. Cole, smiling, replied, I wish every adult had a you. Zane added, think we'll stay together forever? Cole looked at the stars. I don't know where life takes us. But this bond, it doesn't break. Tyler stood, raised a glass of apple juice. To dreams. They clinked plastic cups. And in that moment, the darkness of the world couldn't touch them. They laughed when a millionaire with only 3 months to live adopted 5 boys from the street. The lighthouse had become a beacon of hope. But every light casts a shadow. One rainy afternoon, Cole received a call that made his blood run cold. It was from the law firm representing his estranged family. The Harrington estate, his childhood home, was being contested. His father's brother, an uncle Cole barely remembered, was suing to reclaim control over the family fortune and properties. The reason? Cole's adoption of the 5 boys and his controversial lighthouse project had been branded a reckless misuse of funds. Cole sat with Rachel in the study, the letter unopened on the desk. I knew this would come, Cole said, voice heavy. It's not just about money, is it? No. It's about legacy. Cole's family had always prided themselves on reputation, power, and control. Adopting boys from the street, especially 5 at once, was an embarrassment to them. You're going to fight, Rachel said firmly. No, Cole replied. I'm going to win. Cole gathered the boys. We may have a fight coming, he said. Jesse clenched his fists. We're not going anywhere. Andre nodded. They don't know us. Tyler asked quietly, are they going to take the lighthouse? No. Not if I can help it. Daniel looked at Cole. What do you want us to do? Stand with me. Show them that family isn't about money or blood. It's about love. News of the lawsuit broke. Headlines screamed. Harrington heirs controversial family battle. Millionaire's charity at risk amidst estate feud. Are the boys just a pawn in a rich man's war? The media frenzy was brutal. The boys were bombarded with questions. Some kids in school mocked them. The pressure was overwhelming. One night, alone in the penthouse, Cole's old fears returned. What if I lose everything? What if this fight breaks the boys' spirits? He dialed Dr. Walsh. I'm scared, he confessed. She replied, you're not alone. You have family. He looked at the photos on his desk, the boys smiling, laughing. They're my family now. The day of the trial arrived. Cole sat with his legal team, flanked by Jesse, Andre, Tyler, Mikey, Zane, and Daniel. His uncle's lawyer portrayed Cole as irresponsible, reckless, and unfit to manage the estate. But Cole's lawyer told a different story. She shared testimonies from the boys, how Cole changed their lives. Psychologists spoke of the healing power of family. Community leaders vouched for the impact of the lighthouse. One by one, the boys took the stand. Jesse spoke of hope. Andre shared how he found purpose. Tyler's voice cracked as he recounted how music saved him. Mikey showed his drawings. Zane talked about his dreams. Daniel ended with words that silenced the courtroom. Cole didn't just adopt us. He saved us. And in doing so, he saved himself. After hours of deliberation, the judge ruled in Cole's favor. The estate remained under Cole's control. The lighthouse project was protected. The boys embraced Cole. Tears and laughter mixed. It was more than a legal win. It was a win for family, love, and second chances. In the weeks that followed, the lighthouse expanded. Donations poured in. New programs launched. Cole's health remained strong, fueled by purpose and love. He no longer feared death. Because he had discovered something far greater. The power of a family that chooses to stay, fight, and love, no matter what shadows lurk. After their courtroom victory, the boys felt more than ever that the lighthouse wasn't just their home, it was their responsibility. They wanted to repay the love and support they had found. Inspired by Cole's journey and their own transformations, they planned a community outreach project to help kids still struggling on the streets. They called it Light in the Dark. Jesse took the lead. We've got to show kids that there's hope beyond the streets. Tyler, Mikey, Andre, Daniel, and Zane all pitched in, planning activities, music, art, and counseling sessions. Cole backed them fully, arranging funding, permits, and publicity. The day of the event, the streets near the lighthouse buzzed with life: food trucks, music stages, art booths, and counseling tents. Kids came in from all over, many skeptical at first. But as the day unfolded, smiles grew, walls came down, and stories were shared. The boys shared their own journeys, their struggles, and their hope. They inspired others to dream again. Light in the Dark became a monthly event. It gave kids a safe place to be seen and heard. It gave Cole and the boys a renewed purpose. And it planted seeds of hope that would grow far beyond the lighthouse walls. Life at the lighthouse was far from perfect. Growth meant change, and change brought challenges. The boys, now young men, faced moments of doubt, old habits, and new responsibilities. But with each challenge came lessons, and with each lesson came strength. Andre wrestled with anger. Sometimes, old fears bubbled up, threatening to take over. One afternoon, after a heated argument with a staff member, he stormed out into the city streets. Cole found him hours later on a park bench, silent and broken. Sitting beside him, Cole shared his own struggles and how vulnerability was a sign of true courage. Andre slowly opened up, realizing he didn't have to fight alone. Mikey's voice. Mikey struggled to speak out, but through art, he began expressing himself more fully. Encouraged by Cole and Dr. Walsh, Mikey held his first public art exhibit, sharing his story through paintings. The exhibit was a powerful moment, not just for Mikey, but for all who saw it. Jesse stepped up as a mentor, leading youth groups and speaking at schools. He faced criticism and setbacks but remained steadfast, inspired by Cole's example. His confidence grew, proving that even the smallest voices could roar. Tyler and Zane supported each other through anxiety and sensory challenges, reminding everyone that healing was a journey, not a destination. Their friendship became a model of patience and acceptance. Daniel began studying social work, dreaming of expanding the Lighthouse Network nationwide. Cole was proud, knowing the boy who once felt unwanted was now a beacon for others. Together, the boys and Cole faced their growing pains, sometimes stumbling, sometimes soaring. But through it all, their bond deepened. They were no longer just a millionaire and 5 boys. They were a family, unbreakable, imperfect, and full of hope. One crisp autumn morning, Cole received an unexpected invitation. It was from a prestigious philanthropic foundation known for funding groundbreaking social projects across America. They wanted to visit the lighthouse. The boys rallied together, cleaning every corner, rehearsing speeches, and preparing to share their story. Cole coached them on how to talk about their journey with honesty and passion. When the foundation's representatives arrived, they were greeted with warmth and authenticity. The boys led tours, shared testimonies, and showcased their talents. Cole presented the vision for expanding the Lighthouse Network nationwide. After an emotional day, the foundation offered a significant grant. It was enough to open 3 new centers and fund scholarships for dozens of children. The news sparked a celebration at the lighthouse. Amid the joy, Cole reflected on how far they'd come from a man with 3 months to live to a movement saving lives. The boys felt empowered, knowing their dreams were becoming reality. With the new funding secured, the lighthouse expanded quickly. New centers opened in bustling cities, each carrying the same heart and hope as the original. But growth brought challenges. Staff turnover, bureaucratic delays, and local skepticism tested Cole and the boys. Andre struggled with leadership responsibilities. Jesse faced burnout. Tyler's anxiety worsened under pressure. Cole realized that while dreams could grow, so could doubts and fears. During a particularly tough week, Cole called a family meeting. "I know it's hard," he said. "But remember why we started. This isn't just about buildings or money. It's about us, about love and hope. The boys shared their struggles and promised to support each other. Through open conversations, therapy, and mutual support, the family found new strength. Tyler learned coping techniques. Andre embraced his role as a leader. Jesse inspired new volunteers. The trials made their bond unbreakable. Local neighborhoods began to welcome the lighthouse centers. Stories of transformed lives spread. Families volunteered. Children laughed again. The journey was nearing its most beautiful chapter. The boys, now young men, had blossomed into leaders, mentors, and changemakers. The lighthouse was more than a shelter. It was a movement spreading light across the country. Cole gathered the boys for a special meeting. "I won't be here forever," he said softly. They nodded, understanding. "It's time for you to take the lead. To make sure the lighthouse continues to shine." Jesse, Andre, Tyler, Mikey, Zane, and Daniel accepted the responsibility with pride. The boys started training new staff. They visited schools, sharing their stories to inspire change. Daniel began formal studies in social work. Tyler launched music therapy programs. Mikey's art inspired fundraising campaigns. Jesse and Andre became spokespeople for youth advocacy. Cole reflected on the journey from despair to hope, from loneliness to family. He wasn't the same man who had walked into the hospital 3 years ago. He was healed in ways no medicine could measure. 3 years had passed since Cole Harrington first stepped into the streets and found 5 boys who would change his life forever. The man who once had only months to live now stood strong, healthy, hopeful, and surrounded by family. The lighthouse hosted a grand anniversary celebration. Children, volunteers, families, and supporters gathered to honor the journey. Cole stood before the crowd, the original 6 boys beside him, no longer boys, but men filled with dreams and purpose. Cole spoke softly, eyes shining. "When I was told I had 3 months to live, I was ready to give up. But these boys, they didn't just save me, they saved each other. They saved the future." Jesse stepped forward. "We are proof that love can heal, hope can grow, and families can be chosen." As fireworks lit the night sky, Cole and the men made a vow. To carry the light forward. To never forget where they came from. To always stand for the children still waiting in the dark. Cole watched the horizon, breathing in the crisp morning air. He smiled, knowing that though life was fragile, love was eternal. And the light they had built together? It would never fade. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a meaningful comment below. Let us know your thoughts, and tell us where you're watching from and what time it is in your part of the world. It means a lot to us to hear from you. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content like this. And to all our returning subscribers, thank you for your continued support. We couldn't do this without you. Stay tuned for more exciting videos coming your way, and we'll see you in the next one.